My name is Dr. Eija and I'm welcoming you to this parent meeting. This is a very special moment for me also because we haven't had parent meetings after the COVID, really. So it's my pleasure to invite you now to this meeting. First of all, the open learning environment that we have, this differs a little bit from other schools. Because in our school we have in grade 1 and actually in each grade 50 students. So 50 students are studying together, but there are now 3 teachers, 2 local teachers, Maldivians, and 1 Finnish teacher. And then very often there might be also a SEN teacher. We have 2 SEN teachers in our school, so they might be also attending the lessons. So our idea is that the students will get possibility to study in a big group, but then again the students can be divided into a 25 student a group of 25 students, or even in the smaller groups, because we have these teachers to guide. Then of course there is Quran and Islam that are taught by the subject teachers. And then we have in our school, we have 3 assistant teachers also who are sometimes attending lessons. Here you can see that how it looks like in the classroom. So this is a normal classroom, what we call hubs. So one hub is kind of like one big classroom and then 1 studio. And the studio is now divided from the classroom by class doors. So that in this way, we can have at the same time, for instance, Islam lesson in a studio with 25 students. And the other 25 are studying, for instance, math in the other classroom. So that we can divide easily the students and give them the privacy for their subject and learning. Curriculum is kind of like a backbone of education. So it is very important to know that what is the curriculum that we are following. And as we are Finland school, we are following most the Finland core curriculum. One thing about the curriculum is that it is now built a bit different than in many other countries. That means that very often the curriculums are kind of full of subject content information. Of course, we need to that have also, but it is now built in a way that it gives tools to the teachers to also to know that how to teach, how to bring up the kids. So it's also concentrating on students' welfare. We are working very much on student-centered learning, so that we are trying to figure out methods and ways to teach that support students' learning, and so that we are not rote learning or memorizing that much. But we believe that students need to understand what they are learning. Cross-curricular approach means that that when we are making, every year the school curriculum is divided into 4 models, and each model is now then planned so that the teachers are thinking that how to integrate different subjects together so that it supports also students' learning. So there might be, for instance, we are studying, for instance, the theme of weather. So that will be now taken so that it will be art, environmental sciences, English, Tivehi. They are working on the same theme, and then the learning gets deeper. Team teaching. As we have 3 teachers, so there is basically never 1 teacher only teaching. So there are always 2 to 4 teachers in the classroom, so that the teachers can also bring their strengths to the learning. Ongoing assessment. Very often in the schools, you know that there are assessment periods or timings in the end of term, for instance. In our school, we believe that the learning is happening all the time, so the assessment must be done also all the time. ongoing, so that we can come back also, the teachers, if they notice that something has not been learned. The multiplication didn't go well. So we need to reteach. We need to make sure that the kids understand and they learn. So the assessment is supporting teaching and learning. Competence building learning outcomes. This, what I mean with this is that we are not only concentrating on knowledge, we need to be actually more concentrating on skills. What are the skills that our kids need in their life, in their schooling? And if we think, for instance, that we would be teaching, what is the importance of teaching all the different countries in Africa? That's very important and very good if somebody memorizes. But if we compare that, what is the importance of learning how to collaborate with each other, how to listen to each other? These are the skills that are embedded in teaching. Homeschool partnership, that is very important. We believe that you are experts on your own kids. So we really emphasize on working together with you. And learning guidance. In our curriculum, it is also written very clearly to the teachers that your duty is not only to teach, your duty is to guide how to learn. And the last one, teachers' autonomy. So one of the basic values in our school is trust. And the trust is also the success key of Finland school in Finland. That means that the teachers are giving the responsibility to be creative, for instance, to work on their learning models, to make the weekly learning plans, to work on the lesson plans. That means that they need to take the ownership on teaching and planning and learning. And the lesson plans are not given ready-made for the teachers. So it is autonomy, but it also means that there is a strong responsibility for them. About books, a moment ago I was saying in the video that we are not teaching the books, we are teaching the students. And this is also important because very often in the schools you have learned that it is very important to always do the book from the starting point to the very end, so that every page is done. So that is the only way that we know that everything is done. Well, if we think that we are using different kind of methods to learn, so that there is group work, there is some projects that they are doing, well, we need to have time for that also. So we can not only concentrate on working on books. Books are very good tools, but for instance, in our school, we have not taken any books for environmental studies for the primary level, because we have not found any books that would support your kids' learning in environmental studies. They are Maldivians. Their learning should start understanding their own environment. This was one of the examples you saw that what are the differences in different subjects in Finland school and in other schools. And craft is something that kids love. They really love. The craft room is just next to us here, so when you are going out, you can take a look even to that classroom. So from grade 3 upwards, the kids, they are having a craft lesson so that it's divided also the woodwork, and but with the smaller ones, grade 1 and 2, they are normally having their craft in the classroom, doing different kind of craft works, but sometimes they also have a period of timing when they are having some woodwork. So the school day structure, as I mentioned, the timetables are now done a bit differently in our school than the others. First of all, we have similar way lessons, like 40-minute lessons than in any other school. But we love to have breaks. Breaks are very important. In Finland, we have a break after every lesson. It's either 10 or 15 minutes. And the kids, they go out. Can you imagine there is minus 20 and they need to cover themselves well? Even then, they go out for every break and then they come back to the lesson to study. Anyway, what we are now, at this time, we are having 3 breaks a day. And as we cannot fit everybody in the inner yard, it is now divided so that some time of the break is for running and playing in the inner yard. One part is to be able to read in the classroom because we are promoting reading. And then one part is having snacks and lunches. So one more thing about timetable. Now the students are not coming to school every morning at 8 or 7:50 like it is this year, that the first graders are mainly coming 7:50 and leaving, that they would be leaving 5 to 2. No. Every grade, they have their individual timetable, and that is something that differs. So it might be so that, for instance, on Sunday, if I recall it right, on Sunday, our first graders, they are finishing 5 to 2. But on Tuesday, Monday and Tuesday, they are finishing 20 past 12. So that the length of the school day is not similar every day. But it's not changing every week. So the timetable that they are getting, they are following the whole year. So that when you are fixing your schedule according to the timetable, you don't need to do that again and again and again. Then about guidance and support. As I said, that every teacher's responsibility is to guide how to learn. And when they notice that somebody having some challenges, they need to be then supported. But then when we are talking, usually we are talking with the word special education. So special education in Finland school, in Finland also in our school, it is kind of divided into 3 different levels. So general level is the general support that every child is entitled to have. Then if some child has some challenges, for instance, learning math or is learning to read, it takes more time than the others, then the child is entitled to have intensified support. When we are talking about special support, then usually we should have also SEN unit where the student could be studying in the smaller groups, but that we don't have in our school. So that's why it is now in brackets. But what kind of methods we are using to help the students is that we can give remedial teaching when somebody has not learned, so that we support again. There can be simultaneous teaching. There can be a SEN teacher teaching at the same time when the class teacher is teaching, and she can be concentrating on the students who have now some challenges, or then they can swap. Differentiation. We can differentiate the amount of work that students are working, or the level of the students are working. One I think that one thing that we have needed to really concentrate how to differentiate is Divehi, because we really feel that it is very important every Maldivian to learn Divehi well. Flexible grouping, we can group the 50 students into different groups. We can have individualized lessons for divided groups, and then we can have teacher assistant participating also the lessons. And the last one is what we called in Finland is support lessons. That means that, for instance, if the teachers notice that now Zainab is not advancing with her reading as the others, and she would benefit of now having a support lesson. So then the teacher is sending a message to the parents that, okay, now, because we have one support lesson in English every Tuesday after the school hours. So now we are now reserving time for Zainab to attend the support lesson so that we can concentrate only with her or only with a small group of students. So support lessons can be something that can be helpful. Okay, then about lunches. Now, before the COVID, we had also lunch delivery in our school so that the parents could apply a lunch from a certain company every day. But after the COVID came, or during the COVID, so then we have only been able to invite parents to send the lunch with a child to the school to minimize the number of people coming and going to our school. But now next year, we can again think of different ways. But anyway, what we really emphasize is that the lunches that the students would bring to school would be something that would be healthy and give them energy for the full day. There is one myth about Finland school, and that is that in Finland school we don't have any homework, but that is not true. Of course we have homework, but now comes the very important thing that we need to be thinking that what is the relevant amount of homework for different age level of students. So that we should be thinking that the amount of homework should always be the amount that the child can work independently, so that you would not have to hire a tuition teacher to work with your students or teach yourself. The learning should be happening so that we are teaching in the school. It's our business. Your business is to support and to be praising your child when he or she is doing the homework, but not to teach. And sometimes kids need more support, but our idea is that we should kind of encourage the students to work on their own, because it's their business doing the homework. And then one more that I want to emphasize here again is that the idea of the homework is not to learn something new, but to practice something that is already taught in the schools, and so that the students would just deepen their understanding. Then about the homeschool communication, the teachers will be sending you class dojo invitation, and basically the class dojo will be then the basic communication between you and teachers. There comes the weekly letter so that you know what's happening, some pictures that gives you idea what is happening in the classroom, messages for the whole class, but also or the whole group of parents, but also for individual parents you can share messages. So that is the main way of communicating between teachers. Then we are having also individual parent meetings. We are having open days for the parents. For instance, now next month we will be having a student-led parents meetings where the parents will be able to see how the students are progressing. But then my phone number is always for you to call me. And also when you apply to our school, it is important that you give your Viber number, what you want to use, because the hotline messages from principal and from school, they come always straight to that Viber hotline. What is important that the child would be ready to be working in a group of 50 students. So, and these skills that I would like to emphasize is, for instance, the collaboration. So and when we are talking about first grade students, I'm not saying that they should be perfect, knowing how to stay in the line or always waiting for their turn. This is something that we are also now practicing. But anyway, these are the things that you can already now teach when you are having a lunch with your family and your child is wanting to tell her opinion, so that you can tell that, okay, it's not your turn yet, you need to now wait, we need to first hear the aunt's comments and things like that. So waiting for one's turn and then being a good friend. So when we are going to have an assessment tests for the students who are applying, we will be doing that also in groups. And we are not so much concentrating how well they are reading. And they don't have to read at all. But what we would like to know that how well they are working with the others. Are they able to listen to the others? Are they able to listen to the instructions? And then independency. Of course, students should be able to go on their own to the bathroom. They should be able to work on their meals on their own, so that they can they know how to open their lunch boxes and continue with their meals, clean up after themselves, put back their lunch boxes in the places. About their clothing, so that they know how to put their shoes on when we go out to the break, so that they are not always waiting somebody to help, but they would know how to. And if they don't know now, they have no time until August to practice. But we really feel that learning is not a race. So we should not compare the kids between each other. When we are, for instance, thinking of assessment, we need to be thinking that how they are progressing, the students themselves, against how they performed, for instance, in the beginning of the term, how they have progressed themselves, not how compared to the others. We are inviting now all the students who are now applying from Amir Ahmed School or Kangaroo Kids to an admission test, and it will be probably done so that there will be maybe 10 students at the same time. We will do some game together, see how the kids are following according to the instructions, and do some little paperwork or something, not very big, but anyway, you will get then the invitation, given the time when your child can attend the admission test.